They thought they were raising a dog for 2 years, but were surprised to see the pet later. Some people love to adopt pets, especially puppies. There's nothing more excited than bringing a puppy in the family and raising him. A family got home a little pup and were eager to nurse him as one of the family. However, they soon realized the puppy had something strange going on, and the newest member of the family is not what they believed. Bringing home a new member. Sun Yoon lived in China with her family, and like any other mother, had her hands full raising her 2 children and helping out her husband. She was a hardworking woman, and they were living a routine life. Sun Yoon was looking for a change, especially about thinking for something that would keep her kids happy. She decided to adopt a pet with her intentions to bring a new member to the family that would please everyone. Little did she know that soon the addition would lead to some unbelievable discoveries, and her family would be making headlines. Making a trip. Sun Yoon decided to go on a trip with her family. It was an excellent way to take a break from the hectic routine life and to do something together. There's a lot of unexpected things that can happen once you are out vacationing, and her family too had an innocent encounter with a few cute animals that led to some unlikely outcomes later. Meeting the pup. It was during the vacations when Su Yoon and her children were on a walk and came across a man who had some adorable puppies available for adoption. She had been hearing about her children for months and how they wanted a puppy. The kids again pleaded with her to get one of the puppies from the man. Although reluctant, Yoon couldn't help but notice how adorable the puppies were, and she decided to adopt one. She had no idea what she was getting herself into by bringing a puppy into her life. A puppy with a warning. Yoon got the puppy from the man who told him beforehand that the puppy is from a breed of dogs called Tibetan Mastiff. These dogs grow up to be big and can weigh well over 180 pounds and can grow up to 2 feet tall. It was one big dog, but Yoon and their family decided to adopt him and name him Little Black. Little was their way to be funny, considering the pup will grow up to be huge. Black because the puppy had cute black fur. They were happy to welcome Little Black into their lives and had no idea the Little may bring trouble for them later. It was love at first sight. The family loved Little Black and adored him throughout their trip. When they came back, they had to decide whether to set the puppy home outside or the house inside. They were so attached to the adorable puppy that they gave him some room to stay indoors. The children were overjoyed to have him around. The family noticed that the puppy too settled in well with them and was feeding well like any other active puppy. Everything about the new pet was normal, but then the family began to notice a few things about Little Black. Something was wrong. Yoon knew she was getting a big dog when she adopted the puppy, so she was expecting Little Black to eat more. However, it was her first time having a pet, and she found that the Little Black diet to be a bit confusing. He had a big appetite and could eat boxes of fruits and 2 buckets of noodles daily. By the time he was 1, Yoon had spent a fortune feeding the pet. Little Black was consuming a lot of food and seemed not to mind eating all the time. Yoon was worried that she would go beyond her budget if Little Black continued to ask for more food, but this would turn out to be the least of her worries later on. Little Black getting bigger. Little Black starting to show how big he can get as he seems to get taller by the day. His eating demands were also growing with his size, and that concerned the family. At 2 years old, Little Black was weighing 250 pounds and was nearing 3 feet. Now that's big, and if anyone saw him, their jaw dropped. But regardless of the proximity of his size, the family realized some more concerning matters. A new discovery at the kitchen. Tibetan Mastiffs can grow to be big, and Yoon knew that when she adopted Little Black, but he was growing at an alarming rate, and that bothered Yoon. But one day, when Yoon walked into her kitchen, she saw Little Black standing on 2 feet. Dogs often do that, so it was not something that should have surprised her, but the way Little Black was standing with a firm posture and his sheer size made him look larger than most people. The sight frightened her, and she, for the first time, felt the real warning bells ringing inside her head. Unusualness pointing to worry. The standing episode in the pantry had shown not to be a one-time incident. Regularly, Yoon would see Little Black in an upright posture. She also began to notice other things about Little Black. For instance, he had big sharp teeth that Yoon felt were gigantic. She brushed her thoughts by thinking the teeth must be what the Tibetan Mastiffs have as a breed. She also noticed Little Big Snout getting bigger, but she shrugged off all such signs. It was inevitable that something would turn up soon. He was getting too big for the house. Yoon was worried about Little Big, but her children were having the time of their life, showing off and flaunting their big pet. Soon, people in the neighborhood learned about the big dog as well. Many people in the community were surprised and a bit worried when they saw the children walking Little Big on the street, as he was a sight to behold. Their pet was getting so big that he would not fit inside the house. The family was running out of space and decided it was time to move Little Big to the backyard. But that would not be the end of their problems. A bundle of behavior. Little Black was changing, and that showed his unpredictable mood. It was more frequent for him to lash out at Yoon and her children, and this spooked them a bit. However, apart from the change in attitude, Little Black never hurt the family, but the occasional lash-outs were getting scarier for them. Yoon also realized something strange. She had never heard Little Black bark. He made a lot of noise and racket, but it was as if he was growling or roaring. All such revelations were alarming Yoon a bit more every day. Her fears grow. At the age of 2, Yoon was afraid of Little Black because he was so big that he could shadow her and her children. He was already in the backyard, but even that space was looking small to hold such a big animal. Walking him out was also something that became a chore, as it took Yoon full power to control him on a leash, and it often felt that Little Black was dragging her instead of her taking him on a walk. Yoon learns the truth about Little Black. Finally, Yoon could not take any more and went in to do some studies and research on her pet. She could only blame herself for allowing things to get this far and let Little Black turn into a large animal. All the signs were like that: the way Little Black was growing, his sharp teeth and constant roaring, and the peculiar way that he stood. When Yoon was through with her research, she was terrified for herself and her family. The pup they adopted, thinking of him as a dog, turned out to be another creature altogether. Little Black was not a dog, but a big black bear. He was not an ordinary black bear, but belonged to the Asiatic black bear or the Himalayan bear breed. How large can these bears get? Even an average-sized Himalayan bear can weigh over 440 pounds and can get up to 6 feet tall. Yoon also learned that keeping a bear in China as a domestic pet is illegal, and it added to her worries. Making a call to the zoo. She knew that she had to get the pet out of her home. It was hard, as although Little Black turned out to be a bear, the family had the pet for over 2 years, and they thought of him as part of the family. However, she wanted to ensure that the pet bear gets to move out safely to a new home. Yoon called the zoo, but learned that without the birth certificate of the animal, they would not take it in. She only had one option, and that could mean trouble for her, but she made up her mind to call someone who could help. Reaching out to the police. She called the police, and as she hoped, they were quick to reach. Soon the police were at her house with wildlife experts representing the Forest Public Security Bureau with them. Yoon told the police everything that had happened and how they got the pet when they were on vacation. After hearing the story, everyone went to the backyard to check Little Black, and they were in for a big surprise. A big bear. Police and the wildlife officials knew they would see a baby bear. They were shocked to see that Little Black was nothing short of a gigantic animal who was playing over a caged area. Her pet was not only a bear, but an unexpectedly big one. Police were not about to let go of the adoption that quickly, and they asked Yoon many questions and cross-checked everything. Moving the bear. Wildlife experts were looking for options to move the bear, but first they checked in to make sure that he was not a victim of any animal abuse. Yoon was fearing that there could be legal consequences, but had a sigh of relief with the Little Black explanation. The wildlife experts reported that Little Black was well fed, taken care of, and was to the best of his health. That would certainly prove that the family was not abusing the animal in any way. Little Black was tranquilized and was moved to a wildlife rescue center, but Yoon was worried if she would get a penalty for keeping a bear. The media too got a hold of the story, and it made headlines. Many reporters wondered what the family didn't notice earlier, that they were raising a bear with so many visible signs. The story even went on as a documentary in National Geographic and went viral. However, to Soo Yoon's belief, many other people started to share their stories of adopting animals who turned out to be different animals altogether. The follow-ups? Yoon was cooperative with the police and told them repeatedly of the mishap. Luckily, the police did not press any charges that could lead to jail time. However, they did impose a small penalty on her that could have been more, but her cooperation helped in lowering the fine. The family was not expecting to go through so much when they adopted Little Black, but they never blamed the pet. They often get sad as they miss Little Black and hope someday there could be a reunion so that they could see him again. Luckily, Little Black is now living at a reserve near them, so they could expect to see him more. Subscribe for more.